Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining Education Nation. I'm your host, Michelle Renee. The purpose of this podcast is to raise awareness about the literacy crisis that we now have, and it is nationwide, not just in the city of Chicago. Neither children nor adults read for pleasure anymore. 40% of fourth graders can't read at a basic level that they need in order to practice their reading. Many adults, read at sixth grade level. So this is a problem. It has become very common for both high school students and college students to be asked to read excerpts of books and short articles instead of entire books. They don't read books anymore. They are bothered and irritated if you ask them to read a book. Many students are unable to follow the plot and the characters in a whole story. Literature studies equip students with critical and cognitive and social emotional skills, including advanced critical thinking skills. But students are not required to study literature anymore. Teaching literacy aids to problem solving and self regulation, but it's no longer required. No Child Left Behind and Common Core has teachers focusing on informational texts and standardized tests. Teachers' pay is often linked to how well students score on these tests. So many times students are taught to the test. In many schools, teachers instead are no longer free to teach using actual research-based teaching strategies that they know will increase achievement. We have a problem, and Education Nation is here to address the problem, to raise awareness about the problem, and offer solutions to the problem. Today, we have three guests. These guests work outside of the classroom. They are educators working outside of the edu- um, elementary and high school classrooms. They encounter students in their work. Our first guest is Manuel Frencha. He volunteers at the Barbershop rap group and Never Quit mentoring group. That's the group that has given him a drive to delve more into the literacy dynamic. With this group, he witnessed firsthand a young man not being able to read at all at the age of 9 or 10. And he witnesses other young men struggling with literacy as well. He strives to help our young people, primarily the young guys, assisting them in seeking exposure to relevant options to maintain themselves while being respectful and respectable in how they live. Emmanuel, and we call him Manny.
Thank you.
Welcome to Education Nation.
Yeah, peace, everyone. Yeah, these groups that I work with, that I volunteer with, one I started back in 2010 via a basketball tournament and through a connection of an elder that I didn't know, but he got me in contact with somebody that I did know. And one of the things that drove me was thinking back to when I was in high school. I played baseball and kind of touching with how the young people don't read. I could read, but I didn't read. And I really hated school.
Mm.
And baseball kept me in school. But as I got older and I had to do papers when I went back to college, and I didn't want to plagiarize, so I had to really start getting into focusing on words and meanings.
Okay.
And like Michelle said, the young guy that I came across back in like September, I kind of knew it was a problem, but I didn't know until I saw the young guy having the problems that he had that it really like, man, it sent a shock through me. And I was like, man, this can't be how it is, but it's how it is because he mentioned how he gets bullied, and to kind of turn the tide to keep from getting bullied, he'll bully back. And so
Yeah.
that creates the literacy reading issue, it'll bleed into other avenues and areas. And so it's
Hmm.
something that it definitely we're both groups, Barbershop Rap and Never Quit. We're focusing more on that. So we have an event coming up this Saturday where we're gonna discuss a documentary, and we're getting ideas to help with solutions, as you said, because we need solutions to
Solution.
combat the problem.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Next, we have Aquillah Graves. Aquillah is a former high school educator and school administrator. Um, she initiating change in mindsets of her community. She raises awareness about educational ideas and educational practices in the community. She has employed tenets of best practices in education of our children to lead in decision making. She's been in education as a general and special ed educator, as well as an assistant principal for over four decades. She has completed 4 degrees, including an EDS in education. She firmly believes that it takes the village to raise a child, predicated on effective relationships and effective communication. She is currently a childbirth educator and lactation coach. She is co-founder and director of curriculum and education for Bania Incorporated, and she is a curriculum designer for Urban EDU Coach. Her website is aquillahsadala.com. Welcome, Aquillah.
Hi, Michelle. I'm really excited about this podcast. It's long overdue. We should have been talking a long time ago about this issue. Um, as you said, I'm a veteran teacher, and today my experiences are that I'm homeschooling my grandchildren today, and I took them primarily out of school. Not so much that the teachers were not just teaching, because I think that to some degree they're doing the best that they can under the situation that they have. But
Yeah.
I took them out because they were just not learning. They were not engaged. They were just there. And so the first I took the first one out. And 6 months later, the next year, I took the other two out. And one thing that I found with is that the younger one, who was in second grade, could not read. She had no, and mind you, being that I'm an educator, I had worked on her with for her phonics, the basic fundamentals, and going to school. Being that our children are there for social gratification, she really dummied down to fit into her social status there in the classroom. And there was really nobody there who could take her and bring her up to pace. And so I took them out. And so what I found again, that the biggest probably from primary problem is the lack of foundational information. Our children have with them taking phonics out and taking the foundational strategies away and bringing in rote learning and memorization, everything but building foundation. We've lost our children to the literacy trap.
Yeah. Okay. And last, we have Tonia Humphrey. Tonia Humphrey is the adult education language arts specialist at City Colleges of Chicago. She also teaches English, speech, and college success as an adjunct instructor. She has over 20 years of experience in an elementary as an elementary educator specializing in reading and writing. She's also the founder and CEO of Smarty Pants Educational Service. She is currently an early education mathematics consultant. She is completing her doctorate degree in reading, language, and literacy at National Louis University. Welcome, Tonia.
Hi, Michelle, and thank you for the introduction. So, as an educator, and when I was in the classroom, I always made sure that children, students were engaged in lessons. What comes to mind is one young man, he was in fifth grade. He had transitioned from fourth to fifth, and he was in my classroom. And so I noticed that he would hurry up and finish his work and do what he needed to do. And so I started paying closer attention, noting what was going on. And so I asked him to read. This was early in that school year. Read something for me, just he and I, not in the class, not the whole class. And so he was calling a few words out, and he wasn't able to fluently read. And so he stopped and he asked me, Miss Humphrey, why can't I read?
Oh,
And that just really did something
oh,
to me. And
yeah.
so I told
Oh,
him that I was going to make sure that he did
oh.
learn to read. And so called his mom, and I told his mother that I needed to meet with her, and we needed to. I know people don't like to put children in special ed, but he did need that. And
Mhm,
so some of my colleagues tried to demean me because I did get him the help that he needed. And he
mhm,
transitioned actually to one of my other colleagues who was a dynamic special education teacher.
mhm.
And I tell you, he did learn to read.
Good.
And he was proud of himself. And he
Yes.
would let me know that. And I'm gonna tell you the
Mhm,
most proud moment with him is I went to the graduation, his high school graduation, and he walked across that stage.
and
He had completed and moved on. I
awesome.
was
That is
just
so fantastic.
so proud.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, you mentioned that you your colleagues didn't like the idea of you putting him in special ed. Well, my experience with that is I have um, twins. They're adults now, but
Okay.
my son, they're both special ed on the opposite spectrum. He
Wow.
actually learned how to read fluently at age 3, not grade 3, age 3.
Okay.
But my daughter, she didn't learn how to read until fourth grade.
Hmm.
So I was homeschooling her too. So she just needed more time. But there was a point where I had to put them in public school. She was in second grade. with- They were both in second grade. Uh, but I requested that they put her in special ed only because
Mhm.
I knew that she needed special services.
Right.
And the only way she'd get that special help is if she got that IEP. But
Hmm.
instead of them telling me what needed to be in the IEP, I told them. And part
Okay.
because that's what I was working with her on at home. So I knew her and I knew how she learned. I knew how much more time. She only needed more time. But
Exactly.
what I did was I also had them add a phrase in the IEP saying that when she caught up, as I requested that they leave her in second grade and it was time for my son and everybody else to move on. So I was requested they leave her in second grade because she needed to repeat the skills, and I knew that. But I also said once she catches up, that she needs to be put in her right grade, and
Okay.
that's what they did. And when there were special ed meetings, I went to those meetings and I told them what they needed to do. I told the psychologists, I told the reading specialists. I didn't allow them to tell me. Parents
Right.
don't know that they can advocate for their children, but to be an advocate, you got to be aware of what your children need. That means you got
Exactly.
to spend time with your children. So when she was in fourth grade, she caught up. And because I had to put that phrase in that IEP, they had to put her in her right grade. And what
Okay.
when she was in high school, she was reading books like Pride and Prejudice and
Okay.
Jane Eyre. So she just
Great.
needed more time. Some of our kids
That's
need
all.
more time. That's all they need. And we need to know that so that we can advocate for them.
And now that you say about advocate and working with parents, as the CEO of Smarty Pants Educational Services, another young man, he's a young man now. When he was in third grade, his mother reached out to me because I had tutored a cousin of his, and
Hmm.
so he was retained in third grade. He
Hmm.
couldn't, his reading skills were very limited. So I tutored and worked with him for a couple of years.
Hmm.
And so as he moved along in the tutoring sessions, he would tell me, Miss Humphrey, oh, I can do this on my own. I don't need help
Hmm.
right here. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow. And so as he was in sixth grade, but he was still behind, a grade.
Hmm.
So what happened when I advocated, I always attended those meetings with the parents, the dad
Hmm.
and the mom. They both came, and I explained to them that they have to share what their feelings were and talk about what they needed as well. But I also advocated for them from the education standpoint.
Hmm.
And so the dad was real reluctant to have him in special ed, and I had to share with him special education, as you said, Michelle, is simply an extra layer of support.
The layer of
It's
support.
not a right, it's not a death
Mhm.
sentence. And most
Right.
people in our communities, particularly our communities, they're
Hmm.
so afraid to have their children in special ed. So to
Because
continue, so we
parents
can
are
move on.
afraid. We don't know that we do have the power. We do
Exactly.
have the power, and we just need to educate ourselves so we know how to use that power
Right.
in
So
behalf of our children.
when he was in sixth grade, the psychologist and the social worker um, met with us, parents and myself, and they transitioned him into his age appropriate, the grade he was supposed to be in.
Hmm.
And he graduated from eighth grade with flying colors.
Awesome.
And his mother reached out to me year and a half ago when he graduated from high school and
Yeah.
thanked me for making sure that he was successful.
That's awesome. Parents just need to know. They need
Yes,
to know how
yes,
to use this power that they have. Most
yes,
parents are afraid of administration. They think that they don't have enough education to understand what the educators are talking about. They just
right.
need knowledge. That's all they
They
need.
do.
They just
But
need
the
the
thing,
knowledge.
but educators tend to also, I'm going to use the word, tend to bully parents
They
in some
do.
aspects too.
Yeah.
I always, when I was in the classroom, opened my classroom up to the parents. I
Hmm.
wanted them to feel comfortable wherever they needed. I was there. If they need some books
Yeah.
out the classroom, take them. And
Yeah.
if you need me to help, I can help.
Yeah.
So yes,
So
and
I would like to bring everybody on the stage
okay,
now, everybody back in the studio. And I have a question. We talked about a video where Dr. Umar, he was talking about the idea that sugar is a problem and that it makes students behave like they're ADHD and they're not. What do you think about that idea? What about the idea that sugar keeps children from being able to learn? Aquila.
Okay. Being a vegetarian myself since 1971 and raising my children through as that as well, I'm going to say that sugar really isn't the culprit as much as it is the environment. I think if we want to talk about sugar, we can look at sugar in terms of health concerns. But I think
Okay.
when we talk about cognition, sugar is compounded. I won't say they don't have some kind of impact, but it is not the beast that is made out to be. It's environmental. It's
Okay.
what comes with the sugar. And usually,
Okay.
when with that sugar, you're coming with a diet that is not even conducive for cognitive, assumption,
Mhm.
consumption.
Okay.
We
Okay.
look at diet. We look at parents. Who are you, and what are you bringing to the table? Not only in their diet, but in their behaviors, in your
Mhm.
own expectation for the kids. All of that plays a part into the position and the physical activity of our children. Our children no longer know what it feels like to have to sit and read quietly,
Mhm.
or just sit and be still for a moment. That's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so they turned us as educators into almost we have to become animated educators and entertain them in order to teach them. And for me, I remember coming up when I came up through school, not we didn't do that. There was fundamentals that was taught in the home, or you couldn't even attend school if you didn't have those basic fundamentals under your belt. Y'all remember
Yeah.
that? Write,
Yes.
write your
Remember
name,
that.
know your
Back to the
numbers, know
basics.
the alphabet, back to the basics. And so it's more of the home environment. What is coming
Okay.
out of the home?
Okay. Anybody else
Could
want
I
to add to
could I
that?
add?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I I I'm kind of with you, Aquillah. It's different factors. And I'm just gonna speak on something I did safe passage some years ago, where the position that I was posted, you would I would try to make sure if the children were coming late to get inside the building of the school,
Mhm.
okay. But it was times where they would pull up in the car where the windows are closed, and to me, the newer weed smells like burnt coffee, but it
Mhm.
would be so strong.
It's so strong.
Um, and
Yes.
so, it's so many factors though. But sugar, I mean, because you would have them coming with the bags of the candy and the chips
Hmm.
to the building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that and I mean, oh, and I wanted to add something from earlier. For me personally, I couldn't see where my vision was bad. And that
Mm.
could be a problem as well
Yeah.
that I'm
Yeah.
just thinking about.
Mhm.
So I played it off for a
Yeah.
long time
Mhm.
by I mean, like I got into high school. I mean, I could see pretty good in grammar school, but I ended up getting hit in the eye playing baseball one time. So I had some issues from that. But I had a class where we would do notes, and I would if I got behind, I would fake it, and I had a buddy that I played ball with. So after school, I would get caught up because we would get points for those notes. But it
Mhm.
was one of those things, and then my mentality sitting in the back. I'm not cool, but I'm not sitting in the front of the classroom. So a lot of that stuff
Mhm.
I couldn't see. So some of that I believe is the vision that could
Okay.
be a part of it as well,
Yeah.
Okay.
amongst
Tanya,
other
you want to
things.
add to that? I like that. Mhm.
Well, well, of course, the diet is extremely important, but my
Yes.
thing with the diet, with the thing is water.
Mhm.
Water
Mhm.
helps to get our brains functioning, and
Yeah.
many times, schools do not have let children drink
No.
water
No.
on
Yeah.
a regular basis. They need
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have. There are teachers that
Faucets
are
don't work.
now right that are now allow have them have their water bottles, have breaks and things. One of the school I'm doing some consulting work,
That's a good part.
a few teachers are doing that. But if they had the water right there in their bottles, or providing bottles of water, you will see a marketable difference,
Mhm.
Mhm.
because it would just pump them up. When
Mhm.
Purify.
I was in the classroom, I didn't let children bring the flaming hots in there. I told them,
Yeah.
no, you
Mm.
cannot do that. We have
Mm.
to do different things. We have to make sure our brains are functioning.
Yeah.
I used to have them have water in the classrooms,
Mm.
and they are now mature adults, and
Mhm.
they are excellent parents,
Hmm.
and they are doing great.
Wow, water.
But when
Hmm.
they left me, I had this particular group from fifth to eighth grade, so I got a chance to actually nurture them from middle school all the way
That's
to
good.
upper grades. And
That's
so
perfect.
right. I totally think that that's needed too in
Yeah.
today's
Yeah.
society, that um, uh, keeping us nurturing and working with the children.
For several
But
years.
yes, but I
Mm-hmm.
totally think Aquillah is right. But if more water, because water dilute anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
And then
Yeah.
think
it,
this one needs to.
and then brain
So.
water, it shocks the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're sleepy or lethargic in the classroom,
Mm-hmm.
sip water, not just guzzle, but they
Yeah.
need to be just sip
Yes.
little bitty sips to stimulate the
Mm-hmm.
brain,
Yes.
so it'll wake them up and it'll get them,
Yes.
involved.
Yeah. So I
Yes.
have another question. Um, we know that Black boys are punished for being active and not having not wanting to be still, and they are punished for that, and sometimes that punishment is
Yeah.
accelerated and it grows into something different. So what do you think about the idea that girls usually sleep during puberty, and boys need to run, jump, scream, holler, and shout and wrestle and tackle even? So what do you think about that, the difference in
Um,
how boys and girls learn?
okay. Again, with this group that I had looped with, I had some active boys in there, which that's what boys were. I mean, I didn't see anything wrong with it. What I would do is find them things that they could do to channel their activity. I had them lead things. I had them go to the board and lead a lesson. Um, all of those things really helped them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, children are active. We want them to be active. We want them moving.
Mm-hmm.
I never wanted to try to encourage a real quiet classroom. Now, I
Yeah.
don't want one
Mhm.
out the box, but I
Right.
didn't encourage that. I
Yeah.
wanted them to talk through the problems. I want them to talk through the
Mhm.
reading, talk through the
Yeah.
writing, so they can share and exchange ideas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't believe in them that they're overactive. That's just part of being a child.
Mm-hmm.
And they
And
need to be able to express that.
Okay, I agree. Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah,
Respond?
I just wanted to add something. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother used to always say, because she was saying how at times when I was coming up, I was told I was bad, but she said, no, you you were curious to learn,
Awesome.
and so that's one of the things. But thinking back, we did a lot of stuff, but by the time I got to school, I mean, we you had those guys that were very uh creative, and some of these guys, man, they were active. But you had some young ladies that was like that as well. Because speaking for myself, my daughter is energetic to the point that I'd be like, Triana, what are you doing? Not all
Mm-hmm.
the time, but she's very active. So I don't know. That could be case by case. But I
Yeah.
will say this also, because me and her have talked about it. Some of the things with the schools, once I got to really learning about our melanin and what gives us our hue of color,
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
being locked, not well, yeah, in some aspects, in the buildings all day, because these new light bulbs, I don't know what they are,
Yeah.
but they
Yeah.
don't even get hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like we need natural sunlight to
We
nourish our
do.
melanin.
Mm-hmm.
And so the school I worked at, like I said, I did safe passage, but they wouldn't do recess and the lunch,
Yeah.
so they're in the building
Stop
all day.
that. Yeah. Sitting still.
So that's gonna cause something. And the water would kind of probably help to, invigorate them if they
Yeah.
had it.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we need to. They don't need to be encouraged to be sedentary. They need to move around.
Mhm.
In
Mhm.
the old
Yeah.
days, we
Oh
had
yeah.
a morning recess. We had a
Yes.
recess after lunch and a recess in the afternoon.
But can I
Aquila?
can I
Yeah.
add to that though? I
Mm-hmm.
agree with that. But with the children that we're dealing with today, we're dealing with digital natives today. They are not who we were when we were in school.
True.
They're not. And so what their stimuli is so different from ours is ridiculous. All right. And so I think to some degree, we really have to look beyond even what worked for us for them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's right.
thank you for the old school thinking, because it's
Yeah.
foundational. It's foundational, and we
Mm-hmm.
need that. But what I have, like I say, having raised 10 boys, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and now that's like a whole nother world compared to what we have right now.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
with my grandchildren right now, and like I say, I'm raising this crew. One of them, would have been labeled ADHD, but for
Mhm.
me, no, I don't, and my master's is in the special ed, and as well as being a case manager for 5-6 years. But what I refused to do was, number one, to accept that kind
Mm-hmm.
of label on him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the thing that I saw with ADHD kids, number one, getting them to sit or to be to focus. The idea is to focus. How do we get them to focus? And I think one of the best ways, what is it that this kid likes to do?
Mhm.
Where this kid passion lies? And so with my son, we're a musical family here. So one of the first
Mm-hmm.
things is to put them on instruments. And see, and instruments forces you into a discipline rhythm. You have to be
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
disciplined. And it's
Mm-hmm.
a training,
Mm-hmm.
it's repetition. It's all
Mhm.
the things that come with building cognition. It is in the music. This
Mhm.
system, when they took music away from us, they knew very
Yeah.
well what they were doing.
Yes, they
And
do.
music,
Frequency.
yeah, music being one of the highest avenues for building cognition. But
Mhm.
they didn't take it out of the suburbs. They didn't take it out of these European schools, but they took it out of our school. And as a result,
Mm-hmm.
that again had played a part in reducing our kids being able to harness their minds. Now,
Mhm.
you saw this boy right now here today, I've had them 5 years. He's now 10. When I started with them, our kids don't even know how to stand still and hold a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Talk to you and they jumping all over the place doing this flip. And that was one of the first things that I stopped. No, you're not.
Mhm.
That's not how we articulate. And with our children, remember they're extremely smart.
Yeah,
And so
there.
and what our parents didn't do is explain stuff to us to that degree. But
Mm-hmm.
with these kids, when I sit with my children, I sit them down and I explain,
Mm-hmm.
as you said, I explain to them what's this, what's that, why
Mhm.
this, why that, because they're that
Mhm.
kind of kid today. You
Yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
once you give them that, now the decision is yours, how you want to play
Right.
it.
Right.
The
Right.
decision is always yours. That's how I talk to them. What
Mhm.
decision are you making in this? And understand what are the repercussions for this decision, for that decision. And I'm telling you, if you saw them today, they perform on stage, they're called NG. You wouldn't believe that this kid, well, all of them jump. That ain't no
Mhm.
ADHD. That's the lack of training on our parts as parents,
Mm-hmm.
allowing our not setting boundaries because they had no boundaries. I'm still struggling with
Mm-hmm.
boundaries with them, but they had no boundaries because our kids do whatever the hell they want to do.
Mhm.
They just do it. I mean, nobody to tell them stop, don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
in a system that has made us afraid to deal with our children.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Afraid to discipline them. What is that? Whether however it comes, whether it's corporal, whether it's verbal, whatever. They have made us afraid for the fear that you all are going to take our children from us.
Yeah.
And so as a result, they're so. But again, I'm saying that we got to take ownership for that.
We do.
It
Yeah.
is.
So
Yeah, we got to go back to the home.
true. It is commonly been spoken that online learning is become a negative impact on our children, and people are also saying that because of digital learning, that Gen Zs seem to have a lower IQ. What do you think about that? What is the impact that online learning has had on our children? Who wants to start?
I wouldn't say they got a low IQ. They just they're just different. I mean, it's a big difference how they learn, and a lot of
Mhm.
them have been bought like Aquillah said with the older school stuff. We didn't get that, but they getting it and they're coming up with it. And I think a lot of us don't understand it. Not saying that it's the best, but like I tell people, we got to find a way to fuse this stuff together
Yeah.
to get to what's best needed. Because yeah, it's stuff that they do. It might seem weird, but
But we
they not
So
lower. Some of them might be lower in IQ, but I ain't gonna say all of
so it is time for a commercial break. I'm sorry to interrupt. We're gonna come back and we're gonna allow Manny to finish his comment, and then Aquillah, I saw you wanted to jump in. You're after that. Time
all
for a
right.
commercial. Thank you, guys. Peace and love. I'm Michelle Renee, host of Education Nation, live on the Female Solution Global Network every second and fourth Sunday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. The intention of Education Nation is to raise awareness about the literacy crisis and to offer information to combat the problem. The goal is to awaken an army of reading coaches and mentors. You will experience guests who are doing their part in the community to ensure youth in their circles are reading and thinking critically. I look forward to serving you in this capacity. Literacy is freedom, and Education Nation will offer information and strategies to help ensure our young people stay free. Okay, now we have some comments that people have been adding. Let's read a couple of them. Let's see. Naima Latif says, wow, I didn't know teachers' pay is linked to student success. In some schools, it is definitely happening. I hear that a lot from our teachers. So yes, I also agree that in what an incentive for teachers to great to cheat rather than teach. Yes, that's definitely a negative incentive, and it's happening. Jean Lockett said that's awesome, and it's important to know how your how your child learns. It is important. Um, and someone says many times our children are deficient in essential vitamins, minerals that are needed to perform well. Yes, I agree. They are deficient. It's because of their diets. We, as parents, as families, we need to make sure that our children's diets are good. We need to make sure they eat the right things and that they have the right type of nutrition. That again is a very important part of education. Okay. Uh, let's see. What does this one say? There are so many issues surrounding drinking water and having to go to the bathroom in grammar school. Yep. Some schools make sure students can safely go to the bathroom, but they forbid them to drink water all day, which is ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. I mean, as human beings, they need to have water and they need to have a bathroom break. A lot of times, students are sent to the bathrooms by themselves, stay too long, things happen in the bathroom. They need to be monitored. Zelda Robinson says the educational system is designed to keep us in bondage. Period. Yes, that's it. That's all. Thanks for your awareness and contributions to teaching such truths. Yes, thank you so much. And what is that is what contri- contributes to childhood obesity, not enough physical activity. Absolutely, yes. Okay, let's get back to our guests. Um, and the question is about digital learning. How has digital learning impacted student achievement? Manny,
them. Yeah.
you were the one who was responding. Did you want to
No.
add to that? And Aquila,
Well,
you're next.
I was just gonna add that. I mean, we gotta find a way to infuse the foundational stuff with the modern stuff because every generation has gotten something different, but you find a way to put it together in your regular life.
Yeah.
So, but that we can't like I wouldn't say that their IQ is lower, but we got to find a way to work together at the end of the day.
Yes.
So I mean because they're younger than us, so that's who got to look out for us as we grow older.
Yeah.
So.
But
Aquillah?
we got to first understand. Okay, the understanding starts with us.
Exactly.
And we don't have no clear understanding, you all. Let's deal with that. One thing, what when we think about technology, is not texting. When they brought in texting, out went uh, uh, um,
Mhm.
formative sentencing. They no longer
Mhm.
write in a complete
Writing.
sentence. Just write a yes or no. Texting, they no longer have to spell the word. They could just, acronym it or do something with it. All of that has played a part into what we are looking at.
Yes.
And as
Yeah.
parents, we might not understand that. We may not
Right.
be able to make that kind of connection. And so why? One, with the texting and all of that, there's no longer deep reading. They no longer sit
Mm-mm.
and read anymore. Everything is quick fix. Give it to me in 5 words or less, or I ain't got it. No
Yeah.
sensory retention, none of that, because all of that comes through training from kindergarten or from the womb all the way up. It's training. It's training. And when those trainings are not there, this is what we're looking at now. Like my children here, they're on the internet for IXL, and this crew here, they kind of strange because for them, they go to the insects, to the cars, that's how their mind is wired. And thank you, that's because of me. I'll take ownership and credit for that one. But deep reading, they have to sit and read. Taija Tay, the granddaughter who I told you all could not read when I took her out. And I was really upset about that because she was reading when she went there, but she wanted to fit in, wanting friends. They put them in round circles with their little groups. And so rather than to stand out, because you know how our children are, they don't like you when you show that you're any bit more intelligent or just intelligent. They bully you. And
Yeah.
so you start dumbing down so that you can fit into, the social standards there, the socializations there. And so
Yeah.
taking her out, and now this is the second year with them, she's reading. She's just about a third grade reading. And all it was what? Um, Dealing primarily with her. Our kids need so much one-on-one help, y'all.
Yes.
They need so much. Well, that's why special education is the tenets of it, the strategies that come with it. Every gen ed teacher should have to go through the dynamics of special ed training
Yeah.
to specialize. And every child should have an individualized IEP. Every kid should not have to anything because we all got deficits.
Yeah.
Social deficits, whatever kind of they all got deficits. And so, like when I was teaching, I would make sure for me being a special ed teacher and in a gen ed classroom, it was I used my skills from special ed to work with my gen ed population.
Yeah.
And my memorable school was Harper High School. I loved Harper High School, while everybody hated and was downright nearly afraid of Harper High School. But these kids were some of the most beautiful kids on the planet. All they
Yeah.
need to know, because your kids know their deficits. You'd
Yeah,
be
they do.
surprised how they know what they don't know.
Yeah.
And they know they don't know.
Yeah.
If you are not there to encourage them, push them, force them, they're not moving.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
moving. And
Yeah.
so again, I'm saying teachers who are parents always also too. When we were in school, our teachers loved us. For the most part, our teachers are not loving our children in the way that they love their own. I won't say they don't
Yeah.
love them, but if you love your children, failure is not is not an option.
Right.
Your children are not going to fail, but yet you'll come and fail these children. What is wrong with us? It's enough blame to go around for all of us to take
It's
a piece.
enough blame. Tanya, you want to add to that?
Yes, I'm gonna comment on. I see one of the in the comments about the online learning, having it takes away from the students' social skills. I am 100% in that. But since we are in the technology world, that is just part of education. However,
Yes.
there needs to just be a balance. Okay.
Yeah.
So with the online learning, as a consultant in this particular school, the district has bought a program for them to spend time on this. They want them to spend 30 minutes in the morning, afternoon. And to me, it's just a money maker for whoever is
Develop
making
it.
that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough. That 30 minutes can be used to build some social skills,
Yeah.
to tutor one-on-one, small group instruction.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that there needs to be a balance in online learning and in-person learning.
Yeah.
So with Manny's daughter, he mentioned that was in my speech class. It was a hybrid class. So we met one day and then the other day was online.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I encouraged them to do is I did a lot of engagement. These are college students, but they're young. I did a lot of engagement activities and they interacted. They really enjoyed the class. I gave very little online things because I wanted them, it's a speech class. I want them to interact, to be able to build their confidence, be able
Mm-hmm.
to articulate their messages, whether they're in their field of study or just even just talking to people.
Yeah.
So again, in closing that statement, I just feel that the online learning needs to have a balance. It
Yes.
shouldn't just.
Can I?
And one of the things that needs to happen is that we need to get back to teaching our children how to take notes. If they're
Yes.
learning online, they need to take notes. When I teach in the Zoom class,
Yeah.
and they are taking screenshots and they're but I make sure I tell them you can take this screenshot, but during your study time, because a college student should study 3 to 4 hours per week
Yep.
outside of class. During that
Yep.
time, you write down what you screenshot. You
Mm-hmm.
need to take notes. And if you're listening to a lecture, an old lecture that is videotaped, take notes on that because
Mm-hmm.
something happens to the brain.
Right.
The brain is greatly impacted when you are writing,
Right.
and that
Right.
doesn't happen with screen time.
Mm-mm.
It
There's a
doesn't.
study that says when students are taking notes that their brain lights up. The part
Mm-hmm.
of the brain that
Mm-hmm.
that memory happens, it lights up. But that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't happen. That lighting in the brain does not happen when they are are taking notes and typing. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the same thing. If
And
you
then,
remember, someone in the comments said earlier that students need to go back to cursive writing because when we used to write in cursive and we would say those words as we were writing them, studies show that you have to experience something that you're learning new up to 7 times. So they have to hear it. There's a connection in the handwriting. And they don't have that when we're taking notes online. I have to stop myself from typing everything too. I went back to my journals because I know that about I saw that when I'm in a meeting or I'm in a class, because as a college professor, we have to always take classes. So I learn better when I go back to my note taking. So I keep a journal. When I'm
Mhm.
teaching, there's a journal next to me. When I'm learning, there's a journal next to me. Right now, as we're talking, there's a journal next to me. Note taking, handwriting is important for learning. That's part of the balance that Tanya said that we needed.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
Uh,
Online learning is not going to go anywhere. It's
Could
it's
I
needed.
not.
interject real
It's not,
quick?
but we have to go back to note taking.
Could I
Yes.
interject something
And
real quick?
next. And
Not
Aquila
just
is
cursive, because with the group that I work with, Barbershop Rap, we haven't done it in a while, but we used to have them get haircuts. They would have to they would have to just write their name
Mm-hmm.
so we know what order to go in. And
Mm-hmm.
let me just say this. There were times we had to call everybody back because they didn't have to sign their name. All they had to do was print it. And the printing was horrific. So it's like writing what I did in kindergarten needs to maybe be done for some of these young people. Because like you say, it goes together. And I get the cursive, but if you can't print,
Yeah,
how
but
you gonna write cursive?
Well,
I blame teachers on that one. I mean, and the home too, because you remember as teachers, we got our own problems as too. We go
Oh
home
yeah.
to all kinds of stuff, and
Yeah.
so coming to school, we should truly make sure that as educators that we've left our junk in the trunk. So when we
Mhm.
come into the classroom, because it is easier to have them to do the especially because they can't write and you got to read their writing. You have to do
Yeah.
all that. Mine, what we used to do when I was little, the teacher threw your stuff away. If I can't read it, oh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
how I deal with these kids here. If I can't read it, I'm not touching it. You
Real.
know. And so as a result, they are more descriptive in their writing. And it's just a matter of us as educators saying, stop, slow it down. Let's go back. You
Patient.
don't have this. Let's work it out. Get with them
Mhm.
parents and let them know, look, here's what your kid needs.
Mhm.
Here, and I want to drop this real quick too. But when we talk about reading, like here, these kids are on IXL, and so they have a part in there where they can just listen to the reading.
Mm.
And I won't let her do that. You're not gonna do that. You got to read it. Well, I want to
Yeah.
listen to money read too. No, we're not doing
No.
that
Yeah.
because you got to read it so that you can get into practicing
Mhm.
those fundamentals that you need in order to read. And
Yeah.
she's reading today.
All right.
so
That's so fantastic. Tanya.
just to comment on a note taking, just this week, actually Tuesday, um, I was in the classroom as the consultant, and the teacher was teaching it was math, so the shapes. It was a
Mhm.
second grade classroom. So I just asked her, I said, let me do something a little different. And so I passed out some paper, just some copy paper, and I had them to fold it into eights.
Hmm.
And I was at the dry erase board, and I had them take notes on the shapes.
Mhm.
I
Mm.
had them to write the name, write the number of sides, vertices, and angles, and I had them to draw it. So we did that throughout the class. They were so engaged
Yeah.
in this activity. And
Mhm.
so once I finished, I ended and I stated, now you can fold that paper up into the little rectangle. You can slip that in your book bag, and that'll be your study guide at home. So
Okay.
when your teacher gives you your quiz, then you'll be ready. And they
Yeah.
were so excited. So the
Awesome.
note taking, I started with the second graders.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Mm-hmm.
my last question is this: how has your experience confirmed or refuted the claim that people don't read anymore?
Mm.
Well, I would say it has well, I guess I don't like to say both, but the thing of it is, it's our responsibility as educators, as parents, or what have you, to introduce children to reading, to language, and have conversations. Conversations lead to positive responses.
Mm.
So I feel that what has to occur is that we need to be more cognizant on how we are emulating
Yeah,
and modeling
Mhm.
language and reading as
yeah,
well
Mhm.
as writing.
that's
Awesome.
right.
Mhm.
Awesome. Aquila, you want to go?
Yeah, and the trick is all of that feeds right back into behavior
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because once they start doing just what you said, you're going to see a change in their behavior.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, seriously, you're going to see. With my crew here, I'm telling you, and I'm still grinding. You know, I'm still a long way off.
Yeah.
But they're in the game now. You know, and the thing is, our children don't have a love of learning. We have got to bring the love back into the learning processes.
Okay.
And
And how do we do that?
And we can't, you can't have the miracle without the sacrifice.
Okay.
And so, and for with all that you dealing with in your own home and all this stuff like that, we are still the miracle workers. And so we have to be willing to sacrifice on some kind of level if it's going to be what is necessary to bring this child through. And again, that I say, technology, but when you see that that technology is more of a hindrance than a plus, I say technology to the side and pull them books back out.
Right.
All right.
Let's go back.
Okay.
You know, and once they like, let me say this, I'm gonna stop. The oldest one, who is now 11, he was just stuck. And I said, well, wow, let's go back and look at the fundamentals, because somewhere you didn't get this fundamental for this particular operation. And so taking them back, because the teachers don't have time to keep going back.
They don't.
They're on a schedule.
Yeah,
and
they are.
Miss that deadline if they expect to get what they expect out of it. But when I took him back into those fundamentals with division, we got to go back to multiplication.
Yeah.
You know, and take them back to the fundamentals. He got it like that.
Awesome.
And so, but those are the kids that fall through the cracks. They ain't necessarily labeled, but they're the ones that fall through the cracks.
Okay.
And they're, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of things. We have to keep speaking certain things into our younger people, because I got a prime example of like things that my daughter, I would push on her and my son, but my daughter is the one with, Daddy, did you read it all the way through? And I'd be like, you know, I want to pull rank and be like, Triana, don't do that. But then I'm like, no, I didn't. You know, so, but she, in all fairness, she's the one that's helped me to be more alert and exposed to different things. And I wish more parents were open. Stop putting that adult rank, because you don't know everything.
That's right.
You know, so you need to be quiet and listen. And we're in a different age, because I know we were coming up. You couldn't, my daughter couldn't say that to my mom. I don't know if she would have bashed her, but you know, that was a different time. But now I've always said I would listen to them. They would get on me about cursing, but we got to listen. You know, you got to, especially if you're pushing something, they will pull you on it. So to not be seen as hypocritical, you better pay attention. You know, but listen.
Okay. All right. And with that, it is time for our closing video. I thank you all for joining me today. This was an excellent conversation. I'm appreciative of everything that each of you had to add to this conversation. And that's what we're about. We're about raising awareness, but also offering solutions. And you all did just that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, good to meet you all.
Nice meeting everyone.
Okay.
Brother Manny.
Literacy is freedom. And we have a literacy crisis. Children should learn to read from pre-K to 3rd grade. They should practice reading from 4th to 6th grade, and they should read to learn beginning in 7th grade and continuing through 4th grade. This video is sponsored by Rico Nance and Chemistry Steak and Brunch House in Hyde Park, Chicago.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, Madasi. Nigeria, Eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.